Welcome back, everybody. It's the D Square Show. I'm here with my host
Donovan.
Roy, David Hill here, and we get into some football stuff today. Donovan, how was your week? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I got some good football games over the weekend. Some legendary games, actually.
Yeah, no, it was a great. We couldn't have opened the season off like any better, to be honest. But I gotta say, before we start the show off, I gotta let this out. You had one of the worst takes I've ever heard of, like by far, last week, and that has nothing to do with sports, by the way. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because I want the people to hear this and to flame you, because you said that the Guardians of the Galaxy series in Marvel is better than Captain America series.
I said potentially it might be. I said potentially it could
No,
be
no, no,
better.
no,
I
no,
said
no,
when you
no,
match
no.
them up, when you put the three against the other three, Guardians of the Galaxy could come out on top. Not for the people. For the people watching at home, he has not seen any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
I have not seen it. I have not seen it. I
So,
admit that.
He doesn't really know what he's
But
talking
still,
about.
like, you were leaning heavy towards Guardians of the Galaxy. And I
Because-
still feel like that's atrocious to me. Like, it doesn't even come close to me.
Because it just captures so much emotion, action, and comedy. That trio alone just might put it above some of the Captain America movies.
I get that. I'm not really the one for a whole lot of comedy in my action movies, but that's neither here nor there, though. I just had to put that out. So if y'all see Donovan after this take, please flame him for saying that. I'm pretty sure more people.
Come to me. Come up to me.
I'm
And
pretty
let
sure
me know.
more
Let
people
me know.
agree with me on that than anything else. But man, let's get into this. We had a great weekend in the NFL, and Sunday night was the highlight of that. Bills Ravens. Ravens were up 15 in the fourth quarter, and then magic happened through the hands of Josh Allen, winning this game, pulling out the last second in a comeback win off the winning field goal by Matt Prater, who was on a couch a week from now, and then came into this team not even knowing most of the players and then winning this game for them. But was this game for you, Donovan? What was more eye-popping, the Ravens giving this lead away or the Bills comeback?
Definitely the Ravens giving the lead away. I mean, the Bills come back. Josh Allen's a great QB. They're a good team. So I'm sitting at home thinking there's a chance they could come back. But with the Ravens, they had the ball rolling the whole game. Even at the end of the game, they started choking away the game, but they still had the clock on their side. With Derrick Henry, when he fumbled the ball, that's when you really they choked because they had everything going their way.
Yeah.
The momentum, the clock, everybody was having a good game. It's not like people were having a bad game.
Yeah.
So I also think they choked.
Yeah, I think it's by far the Ravens. Because, I mean, it's the same story from last year, right? I mean, you had a lot of leagues. It seems like at least once or twice every regular season they choke a big-time lead in these games. And I saw a stat that within the last 5 years, the Ravens have choked 6 games in the fourth quarter up by double digits. Teams like the Chiefs only have one. I believe Buffalo only has one. And nobody has more than 3. And my point is that this Ravens team, to me, what I saw from that game, like, they looked awesome for 3 quarters. They
Right.
looked like the best team in football. They
did.
looked like the Super Bowl favorites and everything that we would have thought they were until that last fourth quarter. And then every single problem that we have for them just reared its head. And so I feel like this is the team's Achilles heel. They never figure out how to close games. And to me, yes, the players are ultimately on the field, and it's on them. Like, because if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble that ball, the game is over. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And, I mean, we can't count on Derrick Henry. Like, that was an anomaly. Derrick Henry is very sure-handed with the football. He's not going to fumble that many times. But I feel like a lot of that is on coaching. And I feel like this is potentially John Harbaugh's last year with Baltimore, because I think this may be a Tony Dungy Tampa Bay situation where you might have needed a coach to get you to this point, but he's not going to get you over the hump. And I feel like with all these leads that they've been choking, the only thing that can be pointed out is the coach. Even with the fourth down and 2 play that they could have went for. Granted, it was on their own side of the field, and it would have gave Buffalo pretty much right in the field goal range. But a lot of people were saying, like, go for that. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't able to stop the run all night. You go for that. But Baltimore is a team that when things start tightening up, they start to tighten up as well. And even with Lamar, like, Lamar played a fabulous game, but I feel like on that last drive before they kicked it back to Josh Allen, on I believe it was 3rd and 8, he threw the ball short of the sticks. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to get a first down, and you're throwing it to Zay Flowers. And also, one of the worst calls I had seen the whole game, the whole day really, was the end around to Zay Flowers when they were trying to milk the clock. Like, that was a terrible play call. And again, I feel like that's a lot of the coaches. So I think Baltimore for sure, just because of the issues that rear its head again for them in this game.
You said this might be John Harbaugh's last year. Do you think he's been riding in Baltimore too long off that Super Bowl win from 2012?
No, I wouldn't say he's riding off it because I do think he's a great coach. Like, I do think he's, I think he has Hall of Fame potential. The only reason why I feel like this is his last year is because something has to change. You know what I mean? Like, Lamar is not going anywhere. Derrick Henry's not going anywhere. You've already flipped defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators. The only thing that's remained the same is the head coach. And I feel like, for Lamar, who's smack dab in his prime, you want to take advantage of these years for him. And John Harbaugh is a great coach, but I feel like a chapter needs to be turned in order for this team to get over the hump. Because the mentality of Baltimore is still, defense first, we're going to stop the run and run the ball, right? But that's not how this team is constructed. The offense is their strength now. The defense is not what leads them. I mean, they have great players, but you saw in that game, like, the secondary was horrible. Jair Alexander is getting beat on every route. He pretty much gave up the game-winning catch. So the offense is what's catapulting this team now, but this mentality of the organization still feel like it's defense. And so I feel like that has to change completely, and it starts with the head coach.
Yeah, I think another big thing with Baltimore, I mean, it's only week 1, but obviously in the past years we've seen so many playoff chokes.
Yes.
They lose to teams that they should beat. Lamar Jackson's first MVP year when they lost to Tennessee, Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry had that big game. Yeah. They just lost to Buffalo. When they lost to Kansas City, I mean, the only Lamar Jackson good game we've had from Lamar Jackson was when he played a rookie C.J. Stroud.
Right.
And I just feel like, like you said, they just got to make a coaching change.
Yeah. And I mean, he had a good game against the Steelers last year in the wild card round. I think that was. And I feel like in that game against Buffalo in the divisional game last year, he played well enough to win.
Yeah.
Just Mark Andrews let him down with that catch. But, John Harbaugh, Hall of Fame coach, I just feel like it's time for a change. Now, unless you feel like you have something out there that's better than what you have, I feel like you go for it. But if not, I wouldn't just flip the table just to flip the table. Because, you had Mike McDonald there. He's doing great things with Seattle. You could have brought him as your head coach. And a couple other coordinators have come from there that have done really well. So I just think it's time for a change with the Ravens. But flipping back to the Bills, Josh Allen, reigning MVP, and he couldn't have a better performance. 250 yards in the fourth quarter alone, that's more than a lot of quarterbacks had in the game today. So what's your take on the Buffalo Bills and pulling out that game?
All I got to say is Josh Allen, man. That is a cold dude. That is a cold dude. Buffalo's a well-rounded team. They got a lot of great players, but Josh Allen is the engine of that team.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the straw that stirs everything. My concern with Buffalo is that defense, because it's based on that game. And granted, Baltimore is an amazing team,
right?
But based on that game, I feel like their defense might be in trouble because it was no resistance for the run game and for what Baltimore had going on. And I feel like with Derrick Henry fumbling, gave them a little luck to get back in that game. But it looks like this is going to be Josh Allen's worst defense that he has. And so they might need him to score 40-plus every game in order to win these games. And then for the Bills offense, Josh Allen won an MVP last year. No real number one wide receivers, you know what I mean? A bunch of, I ain't going to say randoms, but, just a bunch of guys that aren't upper echelon receivers. After what I saw from Keon Coleman that game, I feel like he can now solidify himself as a legit wide receiver one for them. Bringing in Jordan Palmer, who was good for them as well. You still got, the tight end combo with Dawson and Kincaid. So I feel like the offense can be better than what they were with last year with Josh Allen winning the MVP. So I think the offense has a great potential, but that defense is going to be tough for them this year. And as far as their path through the AFC, I do believe that this game will be the AFC Championship. And this is why the game had huge implications, because I feel like whoever won this game was going to have their matchup in January at home. So I do feel like the road to the AFC, getting to the Super Bowl, is going to be through Buffalo this year.
You said their defense didn't look good. You're right. Buffalo's defense didn't look good. You said their run defense looked subpar. They played Baltimore. Baltimore is a tough team
That's true.
to game plan around their run game. We saw the Texans were one of the best defenses last year. We saw Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry run all over them in that Christmas game. So I just think no matter how good your defense is, no matter how good your defense coordinators are, that's a hard team to game plan for. And down the line, we're going to see Buffalo. I think the defense is going to improve. We're going to see them play some teams, and we're going to be like, hey, they look good against this defense.
Yeah, that's true. My only thing is that, number one, it's a familiar opponent. Like, you've matched up with this team multiple times. And two, it's an in-conference. Like, I could understand if it was an NFC team. It's like, we wouldn't have to worry about them unless we get to the Super Bowl. But, like, you're going to have to see Baltimore if you're going to want to get to the Super Bowl at some point. So you got to figure that out. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, oh, well, they play well against anybody. Like, no, that's a team you're going to have to see in January for sure. So I feel like they need to tighten that up. Moving on to the Monday night game, where that was a classic in himself.
It was.
Games.
It was a pretty good game.
The debut with J.J. McCarthy, and then Caleb Williams' debut with Ben Johnson and his head coaching debut. In the first half, Caleb looked like everything we presumed
were promised
him to
last
be.
year.
Yeah, he looked like the number one pick. Coming out with 10 straight completions, had some highlight plays. J.J. McCarthy looked rattled a little bit, and then in the fourth quarter, 3 straight touchdowns and turned it on. And then from there, Chicago kind of let things go. I want to talk about Caleb first because I feel like that's the biggest story. What's your concerns about Caleb? Do you feel better about Caleb? Are you higher? How do you leave that game feeling about Caleb right now?
I'm definitely higher on Caleb after that
Really?
game. I mean, he threw the ball better. He felt more comfortable than he did last year. Offensive line, they didn't look the best, but they looked better than they did last year. He had some throws where he was able to sit in the pocket for a minute, and he made some good throws. Now, my only problem was all game he's making good throws, but when it came to making a third down conversion or fourth down conversion, that's when he threw the ball over the receiver's head. They could have won the game when he had that wide open throw to DJ Moore.
Yeah.
But hey, he overthrew him, and that's what concerns me. Every play that really matters, are you going to be able to hit your receivers?
Yeah. I'm really shocked you said you're higher. I'm a Caleb guy. I was extremely high on him coming out of college. I mean, watching him in college, I really thought, like, man, as far as just pound for pound, like, this might be the best quarterback I've seen in college, pound for pound. I don't believe that now, but that was just what I was thinking with my eyes when I was seeing him. And then coming out of college, like, I guess the reason why I'm so down on Caleb is because my expectations for him is superstar quarterback.
Okay.
I expect him to be up there with the Josh Allen later on. I expect him to win the MVP and be that guy. And so from that scope, I feel like I'm more down on him because the same things in year one that were problems still look to be the same things in year two. And granted, like, he came out the game, he made an amazing throw off the sideline to Ramadunze. I mean, there's only a handful of guys in the league that can make that throw. But, the 10 of 10 completions to start off the game, I feel like it's a little misleading because a lot of those were checkdowns. And again, like you said, when the game got tight, you saw Caleb get tight. And my biggest thing with Caleb is everything pre-snap. Like, it was taking him way too long to get plays called in. He was sending guys in motion with 3 seconds left on the game clock, and you can see the frustration with Ben Johnson. Like, that was the biggest thing for Caleb last year was the pre-snap motions and getting everything ready for the play to be ran. And like you said, those throws that he just missed, like, those are throws that can win you the game. You know what I mean? And really, the offense was not that great for them that game. I mean, they had a pick six.
That helped them a lot.
That helped them a lot because before then, it was just the rushing touchdown that Caleb had. And then they didn't score that touchdown until Minnesota already took the lead. So I feel like I'm more down on Caleb because of that. Like, I'm coming into this year, like, expecting improvement in those areas and also expecting more steps to him being a superstar, like a Jaden Daniels. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm more down on Caleb because of that.
Well, my expectation this game was based on last year. And last year, he wasn't all that. So my expectations are kind of lower. So that's why the bar's not that high. That's why I'm higher on him.
That's fair. And that makes sense because a lot of people looked at 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year and was like, oh, well, that's not that bad. But again, the number one pick in the draft, I was expecting. Now, I'm not gonna say I was expecting greatness straight out the box, but I need to see something. Like I need to see something that's reassuring. Like okay, like this guy for sure can be up there with those other guys.
Another problem is he's still trying to play like he's at USC. When he was at USC, he was running in circles around everybody, playing backyard football, because those guys aren't as strong. They're not as smart defensively as these professional guys.
Right.
You can't run circles around professional guys unless you're Lamar Jackson or Michael Vick. Those are two or two.
I throw Josh Allen in there too as well.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Ben Johnson's debut? Because I think he didn't do that well as far as clock management towards the end.
Which was a problem we saw with Chicago last year.
Yes, exactly. And the reason the clock management I'm talking about is towards the end of the game. Like after they scored that touchdown to cut the lead short, and it was I think like 2 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. His kicker, who doesn't have the strongest leg, doesn't kick it out of bounds, and he kicks it, straight to the guy, and he returns it. The reason why that's important is because like they only had 2 timeouts, and you need that 2-minute warning to basically give you another timeout. And so kicking it short and giving the guy an opportunity to return it and go straight to the 2-minute warning, rather than just kicking it out of bounds and saving yourself that 2-minute warning and possibly like sacrificing them getting the ball at the 40 or something. But you still got a legitimate shot to get the ball back. I saw some other people say the same thing. We're not supposed to be thinking about that. I know other people are hearing that and like, oh, I didn't even think about that too. It's not our job to think about that. That's his job to do.
Right.
So, I feel like he did okay, but stuff like that right there is the difference between, the good and great coaches.
I always look at coaching, no matter what sport, basketball, football, baseball, I always look at coaching it's going to take a minute to set in. Now, the clock management is something that you should know, no matter what team you are. But I always look at coaching as, it's going to take a few games for them. Because coaching is, you still got to build chemistry with your team.
True.
Your players have to trust you.
Right.
So I think later down the line, I give it maybe week 5 or 6 where I'll really start to look at these new coaches and say, okay, you're doing good or bad.
Yeah. That's fair. I just feel like Chicago had high expectations. I mean, I heard a lot of people say like Chicago can win this division, and I don't know about that, but I also, and I'll say this last thing before we move on to the next one. I don't know if Caleb is the right fit at quarterback for the Ben Johnson type of system. And we hear a lot of Ben Johnson talking about like, completions, like get rid of the ball. Don't sit in the pocket for too long. And that's not Caleb's game.
It's not.
Because Caleb
wants to extend the play as long as
exactly.
possible.
Like that's what makes him great. And I feel like the Matt LaFleur's, the Kyle Shanahan's, like that type of offense are for quarterbacks who are really pocket passers. Like you think about Matthew Stafford getting the ball out quick.
Jared Goff.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Even with Kyle Shanahan when he had Jimmy Garoppolo and now with Brock Purdy, like it's all quick plays. So I don't know if Caleb is the right fit for that, but we'll see moving forward. Now let's get to Houston. The Texans, man, going up against the Rams in LA, losing at 9-14 in a game where the defense looked like what we thought the defense is, which is the best defense in football.
Right.
And the offense did not look promising at all under this new offensive coordinator. What's your take on the Texans game?
I tell people all the time, first off, the O-line looked bad, which is why the offense had struggles getting anything going. And then before they can even snap the ball, the offense is jumping off sides, just doing things to set the play back. Yeah. So instead of 1st and 10, that was 1st and 25 on the Rams' 5-yard line. Mm-hmm. No, on the Texans' own 5-yard line. So that hurts them a lot. And I think the defense is great. The defense did its job holding that offense to 14 points. They could have done better. I tell people all the time, it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard for a defense to play good when you have to see the field so much. If the offense can't have a drive that lasts longer than 5 minutes, okay, now the defense, they're going back to the field, back to the field, back to the field. They're gassed.
Yeah.
So I think the defense did good. I'm satisfied with the defense. It's just that offense, man, you can't get anything going.
How do you feel about CJ's comments after the game saying that they lollygagged in the game and during practice, basically calling out his team, saying like we didn't put in real effort to prepare for this game going into it.
I mean, accountability is first thing. So I mean, if he's taking accountability for the loss, and he's speaking as a quarterback, you're always going to be the one who's looked at as, okay, you messed up, no matter win or lose. You know, that's the point of being a leader.
Yeah.
You know, leader, win or lose, you're going to take fault. But I don't have a problem with the comments because I think accountability is the biggest thing. Being able to hold your guys accountable and saying, not just me, and not just y'all need to do better, but we all need to do better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a problem with the comments.
Yeah, I think for the Texans, again, like it's kind of the story with a lot of the teams that lost in week one. Like I came into this season for them, you know, expecting more production from the wide receiver position outside of Nico with the drafts and the additions that they made. I didn't expect the offensive line to be as bad as last year, but I still expected to see some improvement, which I feel like I did to some degree. But I think for this offensive play calling, like, it needs to be geared to something more quick for CJ because I don't think CJ is ever going to, at least for this season, is going to have enough time in the pocket for really most of the plays that they're calling. So, you know, as far as offense goes, I think things need to be more swifter, more quicker as far as the passing game, just so, like, he has that time in the pocket to do so. Now, I feel like I was let down by the offense because Nico Collins wasn't involved that much. And for me, if your best weapon doesn't touch the ball a lot or as much as he can, then the offense has failed. And that's in any situation. And, you know, say what you want about Bobby Slovic, but he was able to get Nico the ball consistently, you know, especially, you know, in games and against high-level teams. So that was my only disappointment with that with the Texans. And, like, your defense gives up 14 points to the Rams and that offense. Like, you have to find a way to win that game, in my opinion. Like, the defense gave you an opportunity to win that game. Like, you have to go in and take that. And the Texans have a talented offense. You know what I mean? Like, they have the quarterback. They have the weapons. They have the run game.
Just the line.
It's just the offensive line.
I
then
think
again, like
they're offensive line away from a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and then pre-snap penalties, like all those things. Also, too, which is also kind of sneaky, it's been a minute since we've seen CJ, like, play an awesome game.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like, we haven't seen CJ play a real clean, awesome game for a minute now. And I'm a CJ believer. Like, I think CJ, I know everybody was talking about this offseason about, like, who's, you know, we know the top three, but who's top five and whatnot. I feel like CJ should be in those conversations. But, you know, these are the type of games you have to win. Like, you got a great defense. Your defense gives up 14 points to, you know, offense that great. You have to find out a way to win that game. And I know a lot of the problems aren't his issues, but the great ones figure it out anyways. You know what I mean? So I think offensive play calling has to change. And then you're going up against Tampa this week. You still got, you know, Reddick coming up on the defensive end, a couple other guys on the blitz. Like, it's time to figure it out because, you know, Jacksonville is coming. The Colts look decent, you know.
The Colts look good.
Yeah, the Colts look. I'm not the biggest believer in Daniel Jones, but I mean, in that division, anything can happen. The Titans look bad, but Cam Ward looks good.
He did look good. He had some good throws.
So, like, this is the time for the Texans to start taking advantage of this division before it can really heat up in the next couple of years.
I am nervous about what the Colts are going to do. I've been a Daniel Jones believer since he was in New York.
Gosh.
I've actually, since his rookie year, I've always believed in him. I've always felt that he was just in the bad system, and he had a good team in New York. Him and Saquon Barkley could have at least got to the playoffs. I always felt bad. When he had that run, when he fell against the Eagles, I felt bad for him. I've always been a Daniel Jones believer. So I am a little nervous about what the Colts can do because Jonathan Taylor looked good. I know Michael Pittman's a good receiver. Alec Pierce is a good receiver. So the Colts are going to scare me a little bit.
I don't think Daniel Jones has done anything in his career to make you.
He's not,
to make you believe in him at any point.
He's not, but I like the guy. I feel like he's gonna be a good quarterback. And now he's in a way better team than New York.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I think my thing with Daniel Jones is the best year of his career. He only had 10. It was 2023. He only threw for like 10 touchdowns or something like that. Like, I just don't think Daniel Jones. Now, granted, he is in a better system, better coach, all that with better players around him. I get that, but I only brought up the coach because I feel like as a team they looked better. Because I mean, Daniel Jones is not going to score on every possession of the game
For every
yeah,
season. Yeah.
every game he plays
Yeah.
in. That's just not going to happen. I just feel like Miami is a dumpster fire, and it just reared its head to the biggest degree in that game. But I mean, if you're a Texans fan, like, I'm not too worried about Daniel Jones. I am worried about Trevor Lawrence potentially getting some confidence and with new weapons. So you telling me you're more worried about Daniel Jones than Trevor Lawrence?
I'm more worried about the Colts than the Jaguars. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying. I'm more worried about the Colts than the
I
Jaguars.
mean, I would still disagree with that as well. Just because, like, I do feel like the Jaguars are a better team than the Colts.
No. I will ride with, if I wasn't a Texans fan, I will ride with the Colts over the Jaguars.
Okay. I don't know about that. Point is that the division is,
A dumpster fire, the worst division in
yeah,
football.
it is. But I feel like the talent there is young and it's heating up. So the Texans got to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Moving on, Chargers and the Chiefs. In the game in Brazil, in the Friday night game, which had some weird vibes to it when
Definitely.
Xavier Worthy got hurt on like the third play of the drive.
Taken out by his own guy.
Yeah, taken out by his own guy. And then from then on, it was just downhill for the Chiefs. And I think I said before on last week's episode, I was expecting the Chiefs to have those firework plays. I was expecting Mahomes to have those 50, 60-yard pass plays. And with Xavier Worthy out, that just derails all that. A lot of people are down on the Chiefs after this game. What's your standpoint with the Chiefs right now with Patrick Mahomes?
I think they'll figure it out. It's the Chiefs. We know who the Chiefs are. They're gonna figure it out. They're not gonna lose to teams all season. They lost to the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers are a good team. Everybody was expecting the Chiefs to win just because it's the Chiefs, but we're forgetting that the Chargers are still a good regular season. Justin Herbert's a good regular season quarterback, and this is the regular season, so I expected him to play well. The offense, Travis Kelce is looking his age now.
Yeah.
They don't have any with Worthy going out. They really don't have any other receivers because Rashee Rice is out. The defense, Steve Spagnuolo's defense did not look. They didn't look as good as they typically do. They didn't look like a shutdown defense that they were last year.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm not as concerned about Mahomes as everybody else is. Like, I still believe Mahomes is going to find a way to beat Mahomes. The offense, like you said, you take Xavier Worthy out along with Rashee Rice, like, it's not that much there. Kelce looked very bad. I mean, I know he caught the touchdown pass, but he looked bad. And from what I was hearing from the offseason as far as him, like, losing weight, looking more explosive, I saw none of that in that game. And now, at least for that game, I saw none of that. And the defense is what's really concerning to me because the reason why the Chiefs went 15-1 last year was not because the offense was just, popping up 40-point games every game. The defense is what was carrying them.
And that's how they won most games, by the skin
Exactly.
of their teeth.
And
they barely won.
Right, and the defense has been carrying them really the last 2 years. And so if they're not going to be up to par from what they've been in the past, then it's gonna be real tough for KC. And so a game like that, usually the Chiefs win. But Chris Jones had a brain fart on that last play with the Justin Herbert scandal. The Justin Herbert scramble, and him and Tranquil kind of got into it, which a lot of people say they don't mind. Me personally, after a loss like that, while still on the field with everybody looking at y'all, I don't think it's the best look. But I'm not in panic mode with KC, but I am a little nervous, and especially going into this Philly game. Like, if you start the season down 0-2, that's going to be pretty hard to come from when your best receiver is still going to be suspended for a couple more games. Xavier Worthy's day-to-day, so you never know with him. And like I said, you going down 0-2 is not too much on the bright side from that.
I think they could go down 0-2 and still be solid. Still have a great 17 games. Go down 0-2. They'll probably have to win 10, 11 games to make it to the playoffs. So I think you go down 0-2. I think you should be worried. But I want to go into panic mode just yet. That panic meter is in the yellow. It's not orange or red. It's in the yellow.
I think if they lose to Philly, I'd probably say panic though. If they lose to Philly at home,
Yeah, I think if they lose to Philly at home, that would suck because it would show that it's gonna be hard to beat good teams this year.
yeah.
If you could stay in the game and you lose, then I might say, okay, we lost. We lost the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
So maybe we're gonna lose to them. But if they get blown out this weekend, it's gonna be
Yeah, if they get straight dominated, then yeah, that's going. And which they got dominated in the Super Bowl.
yeah.
So,
yeah.
but let's talk about my guy Herbert, man. My guy Justin Herbert playing his best game of his career by far, over 300 yards, passing, 3 touchdowns. He looks like he was on Mahomes' level that game. Is this the year that he turns it around in the playoffs and we can finally say Justin Herbert is one of the premier guys, the premier quarterbacks in the NFL?
No, that's one guy.
Really?
That's one guy I've never been too high on. It's just I'm so big on how you play in the playoffs, and because he's so good in the regular season and drops so far down in the playoffs, that he's a playoff dropper. You have playoff risers, you have your average guys that play the same in the playoffs, and you have a playoff dropper. He's a playoff dropper. A guy that plays like a Hall of Fame quarterback in the regular season and then plays like me out there in the postseason. You throw 3 interceptions all year and then you throw 4 interceptions in the playoffs. That's bad. And that's his second playoff game. His first playoff game, they were up 28-0 going into the halftime. They scored 3 points. Did they ever score again?
I think they scored a field goal. Listen, we don't need to go back in the past. The past is the past. Now we are here, and we have to worry about the present. And the present is that Justin Herbert outdueled Mahomes in a regular season playoff game. Now,
no regular season game.
You may say regular season. However, though, neutral field, overseas, you would think Kansas City is more comfortable with that scenario because they played in Super Bowls. They know what it's like to play in a neutral field and win those games. Chargers don't know anything about that. Justin Herbert looked like one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football during that game.
That's cool.
And I'm saying, if we're starting off the year with this, if this is the Herbert that we're going to get come playoff time, he can deliver. And not only that, the Chargers have a real opportunity to win this division.
They definitely
And
do.
if Herbert can act – now, remember, Herbert has never had a home playoff game. If Herbert gets a home playoff game this year with a favorable matchup too, there's no way he plays terrible. If he plays terrible, if he plays terrible in a home playoff game, then it just is what it is. But I still have hope and confidence left for Justin Herbert. I still think that he can be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. But like you said, he has to show in the playoffs. But I mean, right now, with a start like this, I mean, we can talk MVP, we can talk Offensive Player of the Year, like we can talk all that. But I do think this is the year that Herbert breaks through finally.
He could be the best quarterback 18 weeks in a row. Week 1 through 18, he could be the best quarterback. When January comes, Christmas time is past, it's cool in the air, you got to put on your sweater, your scarf, he is not going to be that good. Now, he may prove me wrong. And if he proves me wrong, I will say, hey, I was wrong. I don't mind saying I'm wrong. But until that time comes, I'm not a believer in Justin Herbert.
I think he'll prove you wrong this year. I think Herbert, this is the year, second year with John Harbaugh, offense looks better. You bring back Keenan Allen, and you have Ladd McConkey, who's a legit number 1. I think, and with Damian Harris, with your as the legit run option, I think the Chargers can do it this year. And by do it, I just mean Herbert win a playoff game and he plays well.
I mean, I hope they do it. I don't want to see him fail. I'm not his biggest fan, but I don't want to see him fail. I hope he has a good career, but I just don't believe that he will do it.
If he plays better in the playoffs this year and they win, would you consider him better than CJ?
That's a good question. I got to see what CJ also does this year.
Yeah.
I mean, is he better than CJ? Nah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to sleep on that one.
We can do Would You Rathers later on in the year for sure. All right, last one before we get out of here. Washington Commanders versus the Packers this Thursday, tomorrow. Who do you got?
I'm gonna ride with Green Bay, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Green Bay. I was very impressed from what they did in the opening versus Detroit. I think they'll be able to get pressure on Jaden Daniels. And we'll see. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he played well versus the Giants, but that's the Giants. I wasn't too impressed with McLaurin. I know he had the contract situation, so that kind of put him back a little bit. But we'll see. But I think Green Bay Packers start off 2-0. My Super Bowl pick, and I think they'll get the job done. But that's gonna do it for us. Thank y'all for tuning in. D Square Part 2 definitely be coming for more episodes with y'all. Like I said, I'm David Hill,
Donovan Roy.
and we'll be back. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you soon.